Everyone, I'm Jake from JD Entertainment, and I'm here with my friend Johnny from J&M Productions. And here we are talking about a little bit about 5 Stages of Payback.
Yeah, because we're coming up to the 1 year
We
anniversary.
are. February 14th, 2024
Episode
is
1 came
when
out,
episode 1 came out.
which that's insane.
I'm
Like, in fact, right now, I'm sure at this time at 5:26 p.m., I was probably hauling ass with editing.
yes, because I remember we were at school still. It was right before we
And
graduated.
I was like, Jake, we need more time, bro.
And I'm
We need
sitting
more
back,
time.
and we're just listening to the teacher before she starts her day. And Johnny turns to me. He's like, "Jake, we gotta,
we need to talk.
we gotta talk." I'm like, "All right, what?" He's like, "Hey, Zeus and I were talking. I think we gotta push back the due date because I think just the idea of me.
I forgot, when did you want the show to originally come out?
I think it was like this, like Christmas time. I think I wanted around like a week before Christmas or something like that. But we couldn't get stuff done because we still had stuff to do in November.
Right.
Still had final stuff to do in November, and we couldn't get that done. And we were still in school before we went on winter break. And you just turned to me like, Jesus and I talked. We have, we still have all this stuff that we got to do. We still have the color grading, all this stuff.
Right, because
We have to push it back.
I'm trying to think if I even had episode 1 done. I don't even think I did.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No, neither. No.
If anything, I just started and I was like, "There's no
way you're gonna have." Yeah, because I think I wanted to come out at Christmas. I wanted like December 25th. I wanted Christmas, and it just, you were like, no. I was like, all right. He's like, told me, he's like, we gotta push it back to January. I was like, how about February? Somewhere around February,
right?
March.
And me and Jesus were like, perfect.
Yeah, done, perfect.
Yeah.
And I released it on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2024, because it's kind of a love revenge story.
Yeah.
The first season was a love revenge, and I thought it was perfect to release it.
I look back at that show and it's like,
you
know what, we did pretty good.
We did pretty good with what I started it with. I honestly just never thought of it, and then the day I came to you with it, it was like, Johnny, honestly, but I had a dream, Johnny.
Yeah.
I literally, that night or whatever night, I can't remember, I was like, I dreamt about me saving this girl, never knew her name, and the whole dream from the TV show, and I thank you, dream or whatever, and I made a TV show out of it, and I enjoyed the TV show. Never knew how to start it. I went to you guys, I went to other people that say just start writing stuff down, and I did, and I couldn't think of a title. Like, I think I can't think of another perfect title other than 5 Stages of Payback, I guess.
Yeah.
And everything else was a little cliche. Like, and I don't want to repeat anything, the title. So 5 Stages of Payback is what we came up with, and I think it did really well. I think the cast that I had was on point. I used a lot of good friends of mine. Thank you to all of you. I had a great crew as well. It helped out. I got to use locations that I never thought I got to use. So special thanks to those people that I got to use. Kettleman's Bar, I thought, was one of the great first scenes.
I think just getting that shot, and when Jesus was doing the first round of color grading on it, I'm like, oh, we got something going. We got something. Yeah, I think really the whole show was a prime example of us learning both in school and out of how to become a filmmaker. Because our first film, the concept film for Welcome to the Game, that was the start for all of us. We didn't know Jesus or Jacob yet at that time, but you and me both were pretty much the pioneers of that film. So just going from that to 5 Stages was a huge leap for us, because 5 Stages was easily 5 to 6 times the size of the first film, and we filmed all summer long. We even filmed reshoots through November. So we basically 5-6 months we spent on 5 Stages. On top of all the editing too. When it came to episode 5, we literally had it done a week and a half before it was supposed to be released. So I mean,
I have to give you guys props. I'm surprised
close.
how you guys. I don't know how you guys
like
did that.
people don't realize how close this was. Like we promised Jake we'd have it done, and we did. But a week and a half before the episode 5 is about to come out, that was really.
I never thought they were able to do it, and they did it, and I think what we did was smart. A week apart. Like releasing each episode a week apart. We did it
like Disney Plus, Paramount, all that. What they do now is they release shows, once a week and all that.
Yeah, and I think that helped. So I just released it all. That there's no way.
Right, the fan, the viewership would have been
it would have been way too short, and people were. I remember people coming up to me and asking like, "Yo, like, what happens next?"
Yeah.
Is that really happening? Like, how, and I'm glad I released it weekly to get people involved. Like you said, Disney Plus, Paramount, what they do now with shows is releasing weekly. And I'll be doing that for 5 Stages season 2. I am working on finish the storyboard. I got a great script writing. She's already got 3 episodes done. So I think it's one of those things where we will be filming.
Same script writer for Clint's chapter.
Yes.
Welcome to the game, Clint's
she
chapter.
She is phenomenal. She's doing such a great job right now. I have to give her props of how fast she's doing it.
So obviously, a little bit of spoilers here. This is for the first season of 5 Stages. You've been warned, but just
yeah. If you haven't watched it by now, hey,
I mean, just
it's been out for almost a year now. Go to my channel, JD Entertainment.
Going to the end of episode 5, where my character dies and like you're out riding, and all that. Just where do we go from there? Like what is? Jason
I never even thought.
Agenda.
I never even thought of a season 2. I remember ending it that day, and that was in November because I remember how cold it was, or at least chilly. And I remember it's like, this is great. This is, I had no thought. I thought I had no intention.
This was like a one and done.
Yeah, I thought season 1, and then no intentions. And I remember starting writing the story while we were doing Clint's chapter. I remember starting it, then I stopped. Because we had to focus on Clint's chapter. And I'm glad I stopped.
Yeah.
And I picked it back up again. I was like, I'm getting I'm cooking. I'm typing. I'm cooking. I'm like, okay, this is getting somewhere. But in that moment, saying good luck at the end,
or bring it on.
Yeah, or bring it on. Good luck, bring it on. I never thought I would make a season 2.
Yeah.
I just... I didn't think it would do as well. The views it got was amazing. It got over altogether more than 2,000 to 3,000 views. So I'm very, very happy about that. But I'm going to try and make the consistency with each episode this time. Unfortunately, the first season,
it's so sporadic.
It's so sporadic and all over the place.
Like, it goes from, 17 minutes to, I think the first episode's 20.
First episode's, right? I think, 20 minutes. Then it goes to 19.
And then it goes 35. To 30, which is what's like, hey, that's pretty good. Then it goes to 14.
Yeah, 14. With the credits, it's 17. And then the final episode's 53 minutes total.
Yeah, which episode 5 is fucking incredible. Excuse my French, but that's just the honest truth. Episode 5 is what we wished the other 4 episodes could have been altogether. Because don't get me wrong, I personally love the entire show, but there were definitely moments where it's like, okay, we probably could have done better with some of this stuff.
Yeah, we really...
So looking at episode 5, if that was the same for 1 through 4, oh my gosh.
For 5, we took the time to make sure that even the ending was...
Because it had to be good.
It had to be.
We told ourselves this episode has to land.
We have to take the time. We have to do reshoots, we will. And luckily we didn't have to do reshoots, but we have to make sure we provide every single moment, every single action, camera angle, even if it is good in one take.
Right.
Let's try and do a second.
How long it takes to film, we're getting it done. Because there were moments where we did rush in some spots.
Yes, there were moments where even throughout any of the episodes we rushed because either people had to
go somewhere,
right, or we just couldn't get. We just somehow just couldn't get the shot.
Yeah, and we're not veteran filmmakers by any
No,
means, so
no.
and that's why even like with Clint's chapter, we were just like there were moments where we were like, okay, you got to get going, but other than that, it's a learning process.
Yes,
and we're learning for future projects. Like, you know what? If this one little scene's gonna take 4 days, screw it.
Yeah, it's gonna have to do whatever, that way. But there's a lot of people out there who hate, like actors or even crew, that don't want to do that. But at the same time, you have been required, and you took, I don't know if it's an oath, but you said you're going to work on this project, and no matter what, if it's going to take 16 hours, 12 hours, 10 hours, 4 days just to get you're committed, that you said you're going to do it. And if you say you're not committed, or you say, hey, no, I'm done,
then you're not committed to your
then film. You're not committed. And then if you do leave, then that could ruin your reputation of being committed to something.
Yeah.
So, and especially for 5 stages, there were people who said they were going to do it, and the first day, right away, know what they're, Anthony said was supposed to have 2 bodyguards.
Yeah.
With him.
I remember.
It was supposed to be his best friend and his uncle or whatever. And they said, yep, they'll be there at 8:30, 7, whatever it was. And we all get there. Johnny and I get there an hour earlier just to look at stuff. People start showing up, and it's great. People are coming. Anthony comes, and he says, hey, by the way, my best friend and uncle can't make it. They said,
I know. It's like, and you're just telling us.
And you're just telling us that, and they canceled the day of. Yeah. His uncle and his best friend canceled the day of, or the night of, or whatever. I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. So luckily, Anthony did the right thing. He called his friend, and his friend was Tim. And his friend Tim came out, and I have to praise Tim. I'm so glad he was able to come out.
Yeah,
he did a great job. He did such a great job. Even for the small little scene he was there, he did a great job. He was perfect. And it's just some things just don't go. Some days just don't go right. That first day was just a hell of problems.
Can we say that for the whole episode of episode 4?
That there was problems? Yeah, I guess so. I'd say that on top of episode 1, episode 4, there was a lot of problems. I think it's not the best episode. It's one of those.
It's one of those things where it's like
you have an idea written down. You have
it looked good on paper, but when we filmed it, it wasn't so.
No.
And so it's an honest mistake.
Yeah, it's
an honest mistake from both of us.
Yeah, really. It's something that it's like, okay, we think it's long enough. Like on paper,
I thought the episode was going to be pretty long. I thought it was going to be long.
I thought so too. But how it ended in 14. It's just how it was written, and we thought it was going to be long, like a good 25-minute episode.
Yeah,
and it didn't turn out that way because of different endings of where it should end. It didn't quite seem right to end it in a certain aspect of 5.
Yeah.
And it just, there were things that it just didn't work out. And, 4 is that episode where it just didn't work.
Right.
And, there was problems with it, with
we didn't give the actors enough like actions to do.
Yeah,
it was kind of just a lot of like sitting.
Very
just right.
Yeah, it was very. It was boring. Like it was. I have to.
I was waiting for you to say.
It's boring. Like I know I directed it and I created the show, but I have to say episode 4, it's boring. It is not up like.
Some moments are good.
Yeah,
the interrogation scene of you and me is good. When Derek Brush and Ryan Bart are at the Forest Preserve and they run to you, that's a good scene.
It's good. It's just
there were just
there's
some
nothing.
moments.
There's none of that little.
The biggest problems was when they were sitting down talking about how to get you.
It's it was too long. It shouldn't have been a one take. And I remember being there, and I was like, okay. I thought it was great. I thought it was perfect. But watching it, the final cut,
we were just like,
I was like, oh, it's too late now.
It's right. It's too late. Like
I should have I should have just kept doing close-ups and cutting back and forth to make the action more
appealing
and having the audience instead of just sitting there. Honestly, just I felt even me. I was just like,
yeah, and trust me,
you've got to be
and
kidding
it's not
me.
necessarily the actor's fault because we just didn't direct them enough on what to do. It's like, hey, read this stuff and go from there.
Yeah, so just read it. Go off of each other.
Right,
but it was just not perfect enough. And that's not the only problem. There were other problems in the.
We had audio issues.
There's a lot of audio issues, especially
specifically had, especially like when you're talking to Jessica in the beginning, and all you hear is,
oh yeah, there's just the whole wind. It's just as we go on,
we keep getting better and better. And Clint's chapter is one of them.
Yes,
like, we learned our mistakes pretty much from a lot of things.
Yes, we've learned a lot.
We learned our mistakes from lighting. We learned our mistakes from sound. Like that film is like, that's what we really want to do. So hopefully when it comes to season 2,
there'll be a lot. It's going to be a lot cleaner,
it'll be bigger and better.
It'll be bigger.
What can people expect for season 2?
Well, the first season had
crazy question. Does Jason Diaz come back?
Yes. Yeah. Woo! I'm back. Yes, I do come back.
Write that down, people.
Yeah, write that down. Remember that, mother. I do come back, and that's one of those things where I didn't think of the first season. I didn't think, should I find someone to play Jason Diaz? And I was like, you know what? I'll just do it. I've never acted in a big role. I thought, you know what? Let's just give this opportunity.
Give yourself a challenge, man.
And
it's the same thing for me with Lucas. Man.
Yeah,
it's just I wanted to give myself a challenge, and I did, and now I love the character.
And I love my character, Jason Diaz. I'm gonna put more into it. I did my own stunts for season 1. I know the stunts weren't too, crazy.
Yeah.
Anyone could fall down.
But we did some good stuff. I mean, you falling down the stairs.
I had to fall a couple of times. I mean, it's like 4 steps.
Looks so good, and the way the crushed stone, like smoked up in the air. Oh, it's
a couple of times my glasses flew off. Other than that, I was okay. But no, to answer your question, there, the first season had 5 episodes. To expect for season 2, there's 6. Whoa!
You're breaking the.
Oh my God! There's 6 episodes. To expect more, there'll be more actors and actresses. Yeah. Definitely. I'm gonna try. I'm adding more. What's the action stuff? Not just like fight scenes, but I'm actually more action because a lot of the first season was a lot of dialogue.
Right.
It was a lot for right reasons, though. There was a lot of dialogue and action.
There was a lot of setting
where
up
it needed to be.
So now this show can be more about setting up the action.
Yes. So now this season, and I think based on the story and what we've read in the scripts so far, I think we've established that there's this action. Now there's that little dialogue that leads to the action. Now there's next action. And I think there'll be more action. There's more suspense stuff. Like I said, more actors. Better script writing. I think this season, based on what I've read and what you've read, I think the dialogue is a lot better.
Right.
Nothing is still. Nothing is nothing.
Yeah.
Like no one is gonna be just. Like just staring off to an abyss.
Next.
Yeah. No one's gonna be okay, let's fast forward. Come on, let's it's not working. Come on. No one's doing that. And the episodes are going to be at least not 20 minutes apart.
Yeah.
Each episode will hopefully be at least 5 minutes apart based on the credits. I'm gonna try and make it as very close together where people are watching it.
Right.
It's just, locations are going to be a lot better. A lot of locations are kind of the same place, but I'm very excited for
characters,
new characters. Yes, new villains. I'm very excited about it. Our budget is a little bit bigger. The first season budget was what, $1,500?
Yeah.
somewhere around there. This budget is a little bit bigger. I think it's between 3,000 to 4,000, I believe.
Yeah.
There's scenes that
Or more.
there's or more.
But this will also be our first film we're gonna do a GoFundMe on.
Yes, this is the first TV show film, but we will do an indie GoFundMe page because we have, we're so young at what we've done. There's those ideas that we have, and the ideas of what we
And
want
some
to
of them
do.
we just really want to bring to life.
It's
but
just something that it's something we want to do, and it's
expensive.
just expensive.
Yeah.
And it's not like we could just, go into your mother's purse, take the credit card out, and just go, here. Can I do it? Yeah, can I do it? Here, swipe it.
One rainstorm, please.
Yes, one rainstorm. Please rain. But there are, there's, like you said, there's a lot of ideas that are rolling through, and hopefully we'll be able to pull it off.
I think we will.
Because, we were able to pull stuff off in Clint's chapter that we
thought
of what we were able to do. But season 2 is going to be bigger, better, all the B's. Except, well, maybe not all the B's, but bigger, badder, and better are for season 2. And I'm excited to play Jason Diaz again. I have my executive producer who's paid for everything right next to me. So that's going to be exciting. I already have his credit card in my wallet already. So I can't wait to do that.
It's locked.
I know your PIN number. But no, we got, again, season 2 is going to be great. I hope to release it kind of around the same time. I think February 14th of 2026, I think would be a good goal to have. If it has to get pushed back later based on reshoots and stuff. I just can't wait. But you got to have a favorite moment of season 1.
I think it's got to be, well, it's for sure episode 5.
Yeah.
My favorite moment probably has to be the entire fight scene at the end of episode 5. It was just long. So that, or even the drug deal gone wrong. That scene.
Oh, that scene
was so much fun to film, and it actually worked out a lot better than we thought because it was so dark in that parking lot.
Yes.
And I just remember us saying, how the hell are we going to film this? So, us using the headlights for the cars worked out. The only thing that wasn't so good with that scene was the camera when Jesus was walking around. You could see the shadows. Again, that's one of those things where, that's probably the one mistake we made in that show.
That's obvious. Yeah, for the final episode, that's pretty
episode
obvious.
5 was really clean, except for that one part, but it was so minor. We were just like, whatever. But
if you blink, you miss it. But if if you're
really paying attention. But I think the fight finale is definitely the craziest thing. Yeah, and I think to this day, along with like Clint's chapter, there's some crazy. I think that was the craziest and also stupidest thing we ever did because that again, spoilers for some of you guys, but basically the fight finale, it required a lot of guns and
airsoft
guns. But the problem was that, we got permits from the park district to film that.
Yes.
But we were very concerned about how are we going to do the guns because I was very nervous about telling them, hey, we're going to film with guns. And they'd be like, and then we would have to tell the police department. And then because we're filming at a public place, do we have to get like the city council involved? It's just,
it was a lot.
It was nerve-wracking for us. So we kind of just took the liberty to just wing it. We basically just winged it, hoping that we would be okay, and it was scary because I literally was thinking to myself, all it takes is one phone call.
Yeah, one phone
call. 911, how can I help you? Hi, yes, there's a guey with a bulletproof vest walking around with an assault rifle. That's all it would have taken.
Or there's a guy in the clock tower with a sniper and a big flashlight shooting some guy running across.
Like that's all it would have taken, and we would have the entire police department.
All right, okay, sorry, okay, my bad.
So it was so nerve-wracking for us, but it looks so good because of what we did. I think that's why it worked as well as it did.
I wasn't ready for the cops to be called on us again because, like I said, in the first episode, there were already problems. Like the first day of shooting, there were problems. People not showing up, and we got the cops called on us in the first without even shooting anything yet. But luckily, I already talked to both departments, and they're like, "All right, just be careful." And
it was just future things we didn't tell them.
Yeah,
like even in episode 5, the drug bust gone wrong. We did not say anything.
Just kept secluded, and we were
it too. And it was sketchy because there was one car that pulled.
Like, yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
and they were looking at us, but then they drove away. And I thought for sure after that the cops were going to be coming.
Yeah,
but they didn't. No. So
it was. No, it was great. I thought it was. I have to agree. It was a great scene. It took 3 days to shoot it, and I think it was 3 days well spent making sure that we
used our time.
We had to for certain things. We just took our time.
I remember the final day just being so exhausted. I had the fake blood all over my beard. I just remember the picture of me. I was just like, oh.
I don't know why that day took so, because it was just the fight scene, and it just took forever.
Not to mention we had to get Weston out really quick.
Yeah, it just
that fight scene was rushed too, but it ended up looking
pretty good. It looked pretty good with what I had. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
With what I had to do and the time I had to do it in, creating the fight scenes, I'm surprised it turned out the way that they did. And West, he was just like, dude, just do whatever you want. I've known Weston for a long time. I met him before you in college and stuff. And he was like, yeah, sure. If you need help, I'll do it. And I thought he did a pretty good job with what he had to deal with. He's never acted before. He wasn't the best actor, but he also wasn't the worst actor. But with the fight scene, I think he did a very good job. And I thought just to get him out of there the first or second day was great.
Yeah.
And our fight scene I thought was really good too.
Oh my gosh, some of those punches. And actually, I will say this. Shout out to episode 2 for the first fight. For the first fight scene. That was actually really good. And that punch that Noah gave, I mean, it looks real.
It looked real. I'm glad it did. I took that fight scene. I took more time compositing
because it's your first fight scene.
Because I wanted it to look good. And between Noah and I thought it looked really good. And I remember the first, because it's in the trailer. If you watch the trailer, and it looks like I do really get. It looks like I get pushed.
Right.
And I remember watching it with my family, and I remember my mother. And I remember at the end of the episode, she said, "Did you actually?" I was like, "No." It looks. We timed it perfectly where it looks like it.
Yeah.
I think it's Jacob's props for being in the right position at that moment. For fight scenes, it's just all about camera angles. It really is just about the camera angles and really learning the punch. I had to do the fight scenes choreographed for Clint's chapter.
Yeah.
I think one fight scene is better than the other based on who's actually acting.
Yeah.
Because all the fight scenes for season 2, there's more of them. They're small, but there's more of them. And it's just having a nice little dance between the person you're with. And if you can just organize it quickly, slowly, and pick it up as you go, even if it is for just in that moment, it looks great. And I think I think we did a great job, even with Clint's chapter with 5 stages. I think it's going to look great.
I think so too.
And I can't wait for season 2 fight scenes. I have some crazy ideas. Where I get thrown against the wall. I get kicked against the wall. I get thrown through. I have a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Because I'm not one of those fighters. Jason Diaz is. Yeah, he was brought up in a military home, but he's not like John Wick who barely gets hit.
Right.
I'm the type of guy who's like, all right, I'll take a hit. And I can't wait. And season 2 is bigger, better. The budget's bigger. We have hopefully a great makeup artist to make it look. I have a black eye, a scar, or whatever, and
yeah,
I'm so excited.
I
can't wait.
I think it's literally our next chapter in filmmaking, and I think we are gonna pull off something really cool.
Yes, and it's just like Cliff's chapter. I think season 2 is really gonna help us get along and get us more exposure. People are gonna ask us to help out more with either lighting or like I said, make little small little clips here and there.
Yeah. So
thank you, Johnny. I
yeah.
appreciate helping me promote a little bit, talk about 5 stages. Thank you, guys. Please check out Johnny's channel at J&M Productions. He doesn't post anything there, but you can check it out. And please check out my channel, JD Entertainment, with more compilations of fight scenes and other stuff like that. But stay tuned.
You guys can also watch 5 Stages of Payback, episodes 1 through 5 on both of our channels. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to his channel.
Yes. Thank you guys so much. Stay cool, stay healthy, and stay safe.